Hello everyone, my name's Idiotic Synergy, and you might be wondering where on earth is the Colossal Squig? And that's a very good question, because it's not on the Forge World site. Yeah, you can't buy the Colossal Squig from the Forge World site, which means you're going to have to go third party. And to be fair, I don't blame you, because I did have a little look at Age of Sigmar, what they're selling for on Forge World for Age of Sigmar. If you don't play Chaos, you're screwed. And even then, you have to scroll down and... yeah, you are... they have just shit-canned you if you like Age of Sigmar and you want to use some of the interesting units. Honestly, looking at these prices, you just go third party. Seriously. I don't usually when it comes to Games Workshop models, I don't really talk about the price. However, because I'm interested in Age of Sigmar now, more specifically Squigs, I didn't realise how little they give a shit about Age of Sigmar. I mean, come on. There's more armies than just chaos, you know? And I'm baffled by the price of this. Seriously, it used to be 90 quid. This Great Unclean one used to be 90 quid. I know this because I brought it, and I painted it, and I regret my life choices. Never again am I painting this model in my entire life, because it is £144. That's a lot of money to throw at something that has caused me pain. Honestly, it's one of my worst painted models of all time, and yeah, it ain't great. Ain't great. In fact, I was once playing a game with somebody, and some random just tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Your model looks shit." And yeah, that really got to me a little bit, because it was like some random dickhead who just went, "Yeah, your model looks shit." It's like, I know, but cheers for that, fucker. And he kept making jibes about it and jabs about it, and it sort of put me off painting for a while, because it was at a gaming club where then everybody had to have a look at the Great Unclean one, and it was like, "Oh, it's really shit." Anyway, despite that little tangent, we're going to have to check out the third-party one, because there are a lot of third-party Colossal Squigs. So, without a further ado, let's get into it. So, this is the Colossal Cave Squig. This is a third-party one from Etsy, and there's a few of them. I'm going to be honest, there is a few Colossal Cave Squigs that I've seen on Etsy, but this one stood out to me just because on how bright and vibrant the colour scheme is, and it looks really nice. I do like how cartoony and over the top it looks. I also like these squigs here. Look at that one. That one, it's got a grot in him. Ew. That's actually horrible. It's a not a demon calaber, a squatlar calaber. I don't know, a demon calaber, a squat calaber. Anyway, yeah, this is just one out of many different cave squigs you can buy, and honestly, who can blame you? Who can really blame you, if I'm being honest? Because if Forge World doesn't sell the models and you want to use a cave squig, just use third party. And if anybody gets on their high horse about it, just tell them that A, Forge World no longer sells the Colossal Squig, and B, tell them to piss off. I really hate that. It's one of the few things I really hate about certain tournaments is, oh, you can't bring third party stuff, which I understand, but some of them get really overzealous about it. Like if you 3D print a weapon part and and someone inspects that model and goes, "Oh, you 3D printed a weapon part," you could be kicked out. I don't like that. That really puts me off. However, this is a Colossal Squig. I really like it, and it's cheaper. It is cheaper than the Forge World one. I could say this, but then next day, oh, it comes back. honestly, just go third party. I really like these squigs though. They look really cool. I do like them. I like the frog. It's just a fat frog. But yeah, the person selling it is Gork's Sculpts. Hmm. Ah, dear. I hope Games Workshop's legal team doesn't go after this guy because I like his models. I really do. I haven't brought any models off him, but I am tempted to. I am very tempted to. If squigs look like this, I might want a couple of these just to add to regular squigs because look at the fat one. I like the little fat one. That one's really appealing for some reason. He's just a fat squig. What more do you want out of life? But the Colossal Squig is also pretty nice. Anyway, I've wasted enough time. Let's get into the rules for the Colossal Squig, which I just love. I love the Colossal Squig, and yeah, it's a really bad. The sad thing is that the Forge World Colossal Squig ain't a bad model. It's a massive round squig with two little legs, and it acts as a massive ball that you push down hills. It's really silly, and yet they don't sell it. And to be fair, I'm sort of glad they don't, because I can only imagine the price of it, especially with the price hike. There's a point. The price hike. That Great Unclean one. Jesus, no. I'm never buying a Great Unclean one from Forge World ever again. It's just. That price hike makes me itch. Anyway, rules. Let's keep being positive because, yeah, someone has to be. So, this is the rules for the Colossal Squig, and you can still use it in game. I really don't know why they don't sell it on Forge World. However, I think that's what I'm going to do, is that if you can't get the model anymore, however the rules for it are still up, then I'm going to have to look at third party stuff. And I think that's a fine compromise. I might look at more third party stuff, to be fair, because there is a lot of good stuff out there. But I do like the Games Workshop stuff as well, because some of their sculpts are obviously really good. It's what I feel like doing. Anyway, sorry. So, its rules. Movement is, obviously it decays, so it's like 40k. However, when I first read this, Wounds Suffered, I thought it was really weird that it wasn't like 40k where this would be at the top and this would be at the bottom. And yeah, it just seems like a really weird way of doing it. However, I don't mind. Anyway, it's got 16 wounds, 5 up save, and 10 bravery, which is a massive squig. Of course it's brave. Anyway, so top bracket, it moves 4d6. I'm not sure if I like that or not. I mean, yes, 4d6 is a lot of movement, but if you roll all ones, then that's 4 inches movement. Yeah, I like it because if you roll 4 sixes, you get movement 24. So you just that seems really cool having movement 24, but again, you could just have movement 4, which would be quite funny. It's like this big slow squig that just woke up. Like, it's Snorlax. It doesn't move very fast, but it is really big and fat. I do like it. Anyway, Enormous Jaws hits on 2s, and the attacks of the Trampling Feet are 10. Okay, so this also degrades. So to hit with the Enormous Jaws, it goes 2, 3, 4, then 5, and the amount of attacks you get with the feet goes 10, 8, 6, 4. I quite fuck off, advert. Seriously, piss off, please. I don't care. Thank you. Sorry about that. It's just all of a sudden, advert, and leave me alone. It has got missile weapons. Range 8, attacks 1. cool. To hit 5, to wound 5, damage D3. What? Excuse me? Wait, hang on. D3? But to hit and wound 5s. Okay. Sure. That's... Oh, mate, if you manage to get 2 5s in a row and it somehow wounds... Yeah, the damage is D3. That's surprisingly quite silly. I like that. But the big main weapon is obviously... I don't actually know. I was about to say is obviously the jaws. However, the feet are also quite good. Which is a sentence I didn't think I would say today. So, the jaws has range of 3 inches, 8 attacks. To hit would be 2s, unless it degrades, and then... and also where the movement degrades is... Hang on, that's 2d6 twice at the bottom. Okay, I thought that would be just 1d6 at the bottom, but nah, it's 2. Okay, anyway, so to hit, for all intensive purposes, you're hitting on 2s as long as it's not injured, which I don't really know. To be fair, it is a massive model. And this isn't like 40k where everybody has guns. So, close combat is certain. So, yeah, you are going to be in close combat, so, yeah, you are hitting on 2s. To wound 3s, rending damage -2, damage D3. Okay, not bad. Then you've got trampling feet, range 1 inch, 10 attacks. To hit on it hits on 5s, wounds on 3s, rending damage -1, and damage 1. Okay, the jaws are quite good. The jaws are very good. However, you do get a lot more attacks with the feet. You also have lots of abilities as well. So, Crazed Charge, driven mad with hunger, the Colossal Squig bounds headfirst into anything that it considers edible, wildly gnashing its jaws in the hope of finding a tasty morsel. Roll a dice for each enemy unit that is within 1 inch of this model after this unit makes a charge move. On a 2, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay. That's... That's... Right. Okay. So... That's just... Yeah. And if this fungoid squig explosion... That's quite good. Fungoid squig explosion. If this model is slain before removing this model from play, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of it. On a 2-up, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Okay, and then you can add 1 squig herd unit up to 5 models to your army. So it detonates. It detonates and squigs burst out of him? That is horrible. That is a grim image, and I love it. Oh, that's great. That's really fucking cool. The fact that it explodes and squigs burst out like a chest burster, like, oh yeah! Oh, that's really cool. Puff spores. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target this model. Oh my god, so the puff spores aren't just a really crap missile weapon, but they're a decent they're a decent defense. That's really cool. It's like, yep, you can't hit this massive squiggy boy. And then you've got Swallowed Whole. Oh god, what's this one? Sorry, it's just the role name, Swallowed Whole. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with this unit's enormous jaws is 6, that attack causes D3 mortal wounds to the target, and the attack sequence ends. Right. So it says hit roll, so I assume you would have to roll these one at a time if you were going to attack with the jaws. That seems really odd. That seems really sodding odd. Because you've got 8 attacks, right? But if you just roll 1/6 instantly, does that mean you can't make any of the other attacks? I don't know about that one. I really don't know about that one at all. Because that just seems odd. Right, so it says hit roll, not hit rolls, hit roll. So you would have to roll them one at a time. That just seems weirdly worded. I assume, though, you get the other attacks, but it just says the attack sequence ends. So, I don't know. It's so weird. That is such a weird rule. I don't like that one. I really don't, because you could have 8 attacks, but if you roll a 6 on the first one, that's it. That seems really shit. That seems unbelievably shit, because you could do a lot of wounds, right? But if you roll if you roll a 6 on the first roll, you're limited to 1d3. That seems incredibly shit. Surely that doesn't mean that the rest of the attacks don't go in. I don't get that. I don't get that at all. So you would have to roll them one at a time if you get a 6. That's the only way unless I'm really misreading it. But it seems weird. It says for an attack, so 1 attack. That's bothering me. Something fierce, that is. Why is that so bad? What, right. I could excuse it if you rolled a 6 and you eat D3 models and then you gain D3 wounds. Or just something like that. Or you eat D6 models and gain D6 wounds. Just something like that. But no, I don't like Swallowed Whole. That is such a shit rule. For such a cool unit, you might as well just run in with the feet. That's a sentence I didn't think I would say either today. You might as well run in with the feet and... Oh, why would you ever use the jaws? I mean, yes, you could have a lot of attacks, but one hit roll of 6 and that's it, game over. Oh, I don't like that. That's such a shit rule. I'm having a crisis here because the rest of it is pretty cool. And if they remove this rule, this unit would be perfect. But because it's got this rule in, I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe that's why they no longer make models, because it was too shit. But that shouldn't ever be the case because the model is really cool. But unfortunately, you can't get it from Forge World anymore, so you're fucked. Anyway, I've been Idiotic Synergy, and this has been the Colossal Squig. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, I understand. And I'll see you next time. Remember, take care and stay safe.